Today I'm going to start a series of videos analyzing the investments of these two legends. We're talking about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. These two have created a company with tremendous value, and they are considered the best investors to follow in the world. Today we're going to take a look at the investment in Coca Cola Company. And remember, I am not a financial advisor. My videos are for entertainment, inspirational, and educational purpose only. Please make sure to consult an appropriate advisor and do your own research before making any investing decisions. Back in 1988, Warren Buffett invested $1.28 billion into Coca-Cola. He acquired 400 million shares at an average price of $3.20. So far, the current value of their investment is $24 billion. This represents a 1,800% profit. This means their investment of $1.28 billion has grown 18 times more. In addition to this, they have received so far $10.8 billion in dividends alone. Again, this represents an additional 850% growth, or a total yield of 850%. This year alone, they are set to receive over $700 million in dividends from Coca-Cola alone. These are the legends that we need to see how the investment progressed throughout the years. Let's see. In this chart, we see the dividend growth versus the stock growth. One of the good things about the Coca-Cola Company is we see in 1988, when he first purchased Coca-Cola, the stock grew all the way by 77%. The year after that, it grew by 22%. The year after that, it grew by 75%, and on and on and on. One of the good things we see here is that purple line is the dividend growth. The year after the purchase of Coca-Cola, their dividend grew by 6%. The year after, it grew by 17%. If we continue, we see growth of 16%, 14%. Now, this is the interesting area here. Even when Coca-Cola grew negative, meaning the stock actually fell, didn't grow for the year, the Coca-Cola is still increased the dividend by 6%. Bottom line with this chart, we see no matter what happens with Coca-Cola stock price, Coca-Cola is always increasing their dividend. The latest dividend increase is by 4.5%, and which is great. Now in this graph over here, we see the dividend history since 1998 when they purchased Coca-Cola. We see that the first dividend at that time was only 8 cents per share. This grew to 9 cents, 10 cents, 12 cents, and now we see here grows all the way to currently at $1.84 per share. As we said earlier, they are set to receive $736 million in dividends this year, 2023 alone. Now, this is equivalent to $61 million a month in dividends only. Just think about that. $61 million in dividends alone. If we put this into a weekly perspective, they receive $14 million a week. Guys, just think about this. Look at your job, no matter if you're making minimum wage or if you have an executive job. How much do you earn per week? Could it be $200, $300, $1,000, $5,000? These guys are earning $14 million per week. If we put this into a daily perspective, they are making $2 million every day from Coca-Cola alone. Now, to make it even further, if we put this into an hourly perspective, this means they are making $84,000 every single hour. Every time the clock runs 60 more minutes, bam, $84,000. Now, we put this into minutes. Guys, they are making $1,400 every minute in dividends from Coca-Cola alone. Now, to top it off, the cherry on top, guys, if we put this into seconds, they are making $23.40 per second. Think about this. $23 every second. It took me 5 seconds to say this. In this 5 seconds alone, they make over $100. Right? Imagine that. What would you do if you were earning $23.40 every second that you live? Every minute that passes, you earn $1,400. This is wild. This is crazy, guys. Guys, to put this into perspective, Coca Cola CEO earns $22 million per year. His base salary is $1.6 million. And bonuses, he received $6 million. Total compensation of $7.6 million. Additional, he was awarded $8 million in stocks and $5 million in options. Total equity he was given to him was $14 million. In total, he earned $22 million only. Warren Buffett, in dividends alone, a year, he earns $736 million per year. He pays to be the investor and not the CEO, guys. This is the reason why you should invest and invest and invest. Let your money work for you. If we go a little bit more down, and in this chart, now the purple line represents the initial investment of $1.28 billion to purchase these 400 million stocks. The orange line represents the dividend added up to each other. For example, in 1998, they received $32 million in dividends. In 1989, another $34 million in dividends, Altogether, it's $66 million. In 1990, they received a $40 million dividend. This accumulates to $106 million in dividends. Now, if we follow this line, we see that in 2001 to 2002, Warren Buffett already received $1.28 billion in dividends alone. By 2001, in dividends alone, they have recouped the entire investments in dividends alone, guys. The dividends now surpass the initial investment, nothing but profit. And this other chart here, we see again the initial investment of $1.28 billion. However, we see individually years. Now, in this case, we're not adding up the dividends. So far this year, he is set to receive $736 million in dividends. Now, this line shows is that as it continues, in very few years, every year, Warren Buffett will receive in dividends alone the initial investment of $1.2 billion. So far now, in less than a year and a half, Warren Buffett received his initial investment of $1.28 billion back in dividends only. However, this takes over a year. Soon, very soon, we'll see this chart cross the 1.28, meaning every year they will receive more than the initial investment. At that point, he will be over 100% yield on Coca-Cola. This is crazy, guys. As we're saying, by year 13, it was $1.184 billion. By year 14, they already received $1.3 billion in dividends. This is just crazy. From here on, it's just more and more profit and profit. And this is discounting the stock growth, which has already went up 18-fold. Now, guys, this is just the beginning. Berkshire Hathaway is a massive company, and these two guys are legends. As we can see here, this is the heat map for Berkshire Hathaway investments. The biggest investment is Apple at $177 billion, followed by Bank of America at $29 billion, followed by American Express, $26 billion, Coca Cola, $24 billion, Chevron at $19 billion, Occidental Petroleum, $13 billion, Kraft 11, and on and on and on, guys. This is just one company, and they receive a massive $736 million a year in dividends alone. Currently, Coca-Cola is their fourth largest investment, is equivalent to 6.9% of all investments in Berkshire Hathaway alone. In future videos, I'll plan to go over how much in dividends they receive from Chevron, American Express, Bank of America, Apple, and all of the other investments that they have that produce dividends, guys. These guys are legends. This is to show you guys, invest in the future. Now, guys, tell me, what would you do if you were receiving $736 million in dividends alone every year? What would you do if every time you breathe, you make $23.40? What would you do with this kind of money? Would you keep it back? Would you reinvest it back in Coca-Cola? Would you buy other companies? Leave your comment below. Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, share with others, guys. Thank you very much. Leave your comment below. Bye-bye.